Good morning. It is 9 a.m. October 18th, 2023 on a Wednesday. I'm going to go select my new glasses today. Couple pair, almost got, yep, there's audio confirmation. So today I've got a question that's come from Martin Hogg about a cloning operation he's doing. I've got a video of when Barbara came and picked up her computer yesterday and her reaction. And I've got an unboxing and whatever else comes up in chat. This is Windows Daily Helpline number 312, where myself and the chat room stand ready to respond to your questions that come to me by email at this address, DougBetts@LiveWindowsTraining.com, or as a comment on any of my videos, or as a question in the chat room. I don't have any channel comments to respond to today, I don't think. Nope. Okay, so let's start with Martin Hogg, and he's in the chat room, and I'll show you his here. We've had a couple of email exchanges this morning. Hi, Doug. Here's a wee cry for help again. I have a customer's HP Pavilion laptop to upgrade with a new SSD. However, the cloning operation keeps failing on both Macrium and Acronis. I have disabled antivirus, ran Surface System File Checker, Scan Now, and Check Disk, but still failing. However, when I ran Crystal Disk Mark, the read speed was okay at 86 megabits per second, but the write speed was only 5.8 megabits. So cloning software is probably failing due to back sectors. I was wondering if I may be able to repair the drive by running disk defrag. No, that's not a good choice for repairing it, because that causes too much activity from the disk. The check disk is the right thing at that level to fix problems with the disk if they are fixable, but I've got other things for you. So let's go look at the photos that he sent. Here's a clone failed in Macrium Reflect. And then the next photo is another Macrium Reflect, failed error 8. It's not very well focused. Right failed, I think, 55, the specified network connection, something no longer available. And that'll, it sounds like it's exactly what Martin's describing. And this is from Acronis, failed to write sector such and such of hard disk number 3. Now, is that actually hard disk number 3? Or is it possible there's some other drive involved? Is that your target disk? Just make sure that hard disk number 3 is your source disk. Clone disk operation failed, because it is saying failed to write to sector. It's not saying it failed to read. So I want to find out, is that actually the target disk that's failing? Then clone disk operation failed. Then cannot complete cloning. The selected partition on the source drive cannot be resized to fit a smaller drive because the source drive uses an unsupported or broken file system. That sounds a little bit untrustworthy. Let's see, here it shows G drive. There's disk 3 highlighted. So it looks to me like the G drive is the source and is the one that's having the trouble, which is what I was expecting. Now let's go on to what is next. I asked him for a picture of Crystal Disk info. Yeah, here I said, can you send a screenshot of Crystal Disk info? Be sure to include all the detail lines by either stretching the window or scrolling down for a second screenshot. Now, I didn't display my reply to him because that shows his email address. And he says, voila, read speed has now improved. I forgot to say there are 3 profiles on the PC. I don't know how that makes any significance to the read speed improving. It was the write speed he was really complaining about. But here's Crystal Disk info. Now, I have not yet looked at this in detail because I was busy doing other things. So here we go. Let's see, can I? Yeah, I can reposition that. Zeros for read error rate, throughput performance 0. Spin up time has a number, start stop count has a number, reallocated sector is 0. Now let's check what drive letters we got. Drive letters C and D. This is a JD something or other, whatever that is, 5400. Oh, that's a Hitachi, I think. C and D. So our presumption here is that is the source drive. Seems likely. Now let's go on and see what else we have in here. Because if you didn't know, it's not enough for it to say good and have a decent temperature reading and for all these to be blue. These numbers over here could be indicating imminent trouble. Decline that call. Start stop count. And that's okay. Reallocated sectors is 0. Seek error rate is 0. Seek performance time is 0. Power on hours has a number. Spin retry count 0. So far, it's looking pretty good. Power cycle count, vendor specific, end-to-end arrows, zeros, reported uncorrectable errors. We do have numbers here. However, you need to look deeper into that because these numbers look kind of suspicious. This doesn't look like an actual count of errors. Some of these numbers break up those raw values in different segments, and they actually are communicating something other than actual counts. So we need to go look at how this drive manufacturer handles this particular smart info, because with the B in that position and the 1 here, those are suspicious to me because here's the 4 digits. That's probably the count of the errors, and this 1 in this this quad position and this B in this quad position, I got a suspicion that actually means something else. Command timeout may be an issue. Airflow temperature, G-sense error rate has a number. It's an error message, but G-sense, that's for impact. That's G as in number of G's of gravity force. So that's a number indicating when it has protected itself from like a fall or a hit. Power off retract count. That's not of concern. Load unload cycle count, not concerning. Reallocation event, current pending sector count, both of those are zeros. That's sounding pretty good. That's sounding rather encouraging. And then here he scrolled down to show us the rest. We saw pending sector account, uncorrectable sector, zeros. Yeah, so this looks pretty good. Maybe it's just a file system problem that it's having trouble with, and that check disk that you did you do it with the correct parameters, the /F and whatever the rest of that is? Maybe somebody could put the proper command into chat to actually fix the errors that are found by check disk, because I don't know that by memory. Now let's see, is there anything else on this email that I need to? Oh, he's given a crystal disk mark where his write number is much better. I think he said it was the read number that was improved, but it was the write number that he was concerned about. Previously, I think he said, and I'm looking back at the original one, he said, yeah, the read speed was okay at 86 megabits per second. The write speed was only 5.8. And then he said the read speed is now improved. So I think he just meant to say the write speed. Let's go look at chat and see how people are responding to Martin's issue. Then we'll move on to the other topics. Alice, hello. Yes, she was watching us play Fortnite. It was great fun. Martin Hogg, good evening, everyone from Scotland, waiting for Storm Babette tomorrow. Keep safe. Why am I not seeing all 10 participants? If they don't comment, you don't see them. That explains it. Let's see, Martin, Alice, John, Ken, Richard, Rogers, Brian, Lightfoot, to Ken. Even if they comment, you cannot see them or I'm missing something. You guys have X-ray chat enabled. Yeah, you got a good point there, Brian. Even if people do chat, when you go look at participants here, because I think that's what Martin was referring to, that they weren't showing up here, but you still can't see them because they don't have their cameras turned on. This is just their names. This is not actually the people that you're seeing here. Okay, such a Doug. Cannot see them. Yeah, but Brian, maybe you were missing this about X-ray chat mode enabled. Were you aware of this piece, Martin? Then here, Chris Garrett, I will be here for a few minutes. Got to get my ears lowered at 1 p.m. Sin Vicious, Ran Israel. Hellos to you alls. Nick Poverman, my hands got all cut up and bloody handling a piece of cheese. I'll never buy sharp cheddar again. You had me going. At this point, I was imagining that your hands got cut up because you were using a cheese grater. Sharp cheddar. Shalom from Zivi Menor. I hope you are staying safe, my friend. My heart goes out to you and your countrymen. Chris Garrett, have you figured out the causation of the Big Beast build crash? No, but yesterday the stream did not crash, and I told you I was going to take the basketball players. Oh, Doug's sitting out there in midair, or that one. I'm taking the basket players' superstition to heart. So I have created a backup stream. However, yesterday somebody was sitting over there waiting for the show to start and they didn't find the correct show. So the stream that I scheduled as a backup, as a part 2, is unlisted. So nobody got notifications for that second stream. Yeah, that's not really what's solving it, right? But there were some changes that they had me make. So far, I haven't had any glitches with XSplit. Now I have added memory back. I added 2 of those RAM modules. So now I've got 128 gigabyte, and that would mean that I'm now running in quad channel mode, and I have not seen any of that glitchiness in my video, because I was seeing glitchiness in my video while I'm looking at XSplit. I don't think you guys saw it, because I think it was going out over the stream all right. I think that was taking priority over what it was showing me, but it looks like it's running a lot smoother. Perhaps due to the quad channel, because quad channel means there's 4 lanes of traffic. Count them, 4 lanes of traffic. That's Doug math. I'm showing you the number 4 on my hands. Richard Rogers, hello a couple times. I've seen that error before for sure. Good morning, DougBetts fans, from Jeff. Lawn Dog, one time I was cloning the drive, and the drive that I was cloning to add a defect in it had a defect in it. It was an older drive that I had. I was unaware of the bad sector. Yeah, if the drive that you're cloning to has a problem, then perhaps do disk part clean and then do a full format, removing that check mark for a quick format so it writes the zeros all across the drive, or use some utility that does a better job of fixing problem drives. Brand new Samsung 1 terabyte drive that you are cloning to. Mike Wojcik, hi everyone. So it turned out to be the drive I was cloning to. Normally we look at the drive being cloned as possible failure. Yeah, that was for Lawn Dog. Don't get confused here between Martin Hogg's story and Lawn Dog's story. Richard Rogers, 904. I've got a couple other things for Martin other than what chat comes up with. Is the source drive GPT or MBR. By the way, HST makes some fantastic hard drives. They were kind of surprised to find out over time what a high quality drive they were. I have 2 of them. Martin says it's a GPT that he's cloning from. And Martin, are you booted on a USB thumb drive, or are you actually booted on that drive and trying to clone it while Windows is actually running from that drive. Yeah, I think not, because I think you showed that as G colon. Got another tooth bothering me. For Chris, both drives need to be GPT or it will fail. Yeah, but he's getting a specific sector number. I don't think that would be what's going on. But when you're cloning from a GPT drive to, it's a brand new drive that he's cloning to, so it's not already, doesn't already have content on it. Yeah, I don't think that would be it. Should not be happening. Cloning software has been around for eternity. If it didn't work, we would know by now. Hello, Bobby Warren. Nick Perman, I've seen this problem with Windows 10. Speedy C says hello. Speedy C, I think, was watching us this morning on Fortnite. Well, Nick, I just don't understand why you would have a problem, especially if both drives are mechanically good and the platters have no errors. There shouldn't be an issue. Well, no, because there can still be file system problems. And there were a couple of errors in Crystal Disk info, but they were ones that I wasn't real confident that they would be causing the trouble. I also think in the cloning process to the new drive, the cloning software will copy the file system structure. Well, yeah, it's copying every bit. If you're trying to clone from GPT to MBR, it's a problem. No, the destination is not MBR, it's a brand new drive. For example, if the drive being cloned is GPT in the drive is being cloned to, let's say it's exFAT, as far as I know, the cloning software will adjust the drive to the cloned drives. Yeah, because a cloning operation is going to be copying every bit, including the file structure. So it shouldn't matter that even if the target drive was used as MBR, that shouldn't matter because it's copying over all of the partition boundaries, all of the partition types. That shouldn't be an issue. Well, Nick, when I've got time to goof around, I may give that a demo, but I've never had that kind of problem. Someone puzzled, but it is easy enough to make the drive that's going to accept the clone, make it GPT, and move on. Alice, any live today for Ken? As of right now, no. Doug, it's your understanding. I believe I have a redirect set up for Kerry Holzman. I think. Is it your understanding for using cloning software, what is different is the cloning is done sector for sector? No, byte by byte, bit by bit, not bit by bit. That's why it grabs all the invisible stuff you're not able to. Now, okay, I'm saying bit by bit. Do I really know that? No, I think that. To copy, you just use the copy command and copy the entire drive. We know there are files that could be copied to make the drive run or bootable. Okay, I got to move on to myself. Here's Rand Israel. Thank you. Check this, then the drive letter /F//R. Is that what you used, Martin? Now, I'm going to go bring up Macrim Reflect because I think there are some advanced options that you can adjust that might help this work. Let's see, if I say that I want to, that's my image this disk. Now, wait a minute, which is which here? Oh, that's my backup drive. This is my, that's too big. Okay, so here I'm going to take my backup drive and clone it to the drive that I'm actually running this computer on right now. If I try to clone from my spinning hard disk backup drive to, now wait a minute. Oh, I clicked the image. I want to choose clone. Okay, clone. Select the disk to clone to. Now, but instead of going there, I'll go to advanced options. Let's see, what all do I get here? Perform intelligent sector copy, verify file system. So if you remove this, then it's not going to verify the file system from the source. So whatever errors it finds on the source, it should copy them over to the destination. So that's one thing that you could try. Rapid delta clone, only copy differences between source and target. No, you don't need that, but it's not going to do that since the target doesn't already have your source anyway. Enable SSD trim. This increases lifetime and the performance by flagging unused blocks, avoiding slow erase operations, and read modify for these blocks. Now, would that help for your cloning operation, on or off? Enable SSD trim. I don't think that's going to make a difference. Verify file system is the only one. The other thing that you could do is perform a forensic sector copy, and that's going to copy the errors over to the new drive, but you should get your clone accomplished. So I think the most significant there is either that one or do the forensic sector copy. And these do indicate that there's copying sector by sector. So I will eat my words about saying that it clones by bit by bit. It takes one sector at a time, but it's copying each bit of that sector. Does that distinction matter? Now, if I select a disk to clone to, and I select to clone to the disk that I'm actually running Windows from right now, and then if I go to next, it copies those partitions down to here, and this hopefully is not going to crash the stream. If you wish to run this clone again, you can schedule it below. I'm just looking to see if there's any other advanced options that come up once I selected a destination. And no, it hasn't. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel from there. And then another thing that I want to make available is that, let's see, I'll take this off screen for a moment. Steve Gibson yesterday announced that the new 6.1 version of SpinRite is available for people who already have the 6.0 license. Now, I have no idea if Martin has that, but let's get over here to this link. I created a clip of the Security Now show yesterday. SpinRite 6.1 available free to owners of SpinRite 6.0. Now, and I'll put that link there. Now, Martin, if you were to want to do this, you could go purchase 6.0 and then get 6.1. Because of the problems on that drive, if you run, now see, 6.0 can't handle GPT partitions. 6.1 does. And it's faster than 6.0, but depending upon the problems that it has, SpinRite is so aggressive at trying to fix problems, it could run for hours, it could run for days to fix the problems. So that is another option for you, Martin Hogg. SpinRite is not cheap. It seems to me like it's around $100. And I have a couple of 6.0 licenses. Hey, that's right. I have a couple 6.0 licenses. Huh. Maybe. Can I transfer one of my licenses to Martin? Interesting. Do I know where I was at in chat? I gotta go check and see what I have set up for a redirect. And the show's still running, has not crashed. I have 0 dropped frames. I discovered that I have to re-enable that enhanced logging every time I launch XSplit. So I've got a reminder set up for myself to do that. Nope, I'm not going to have any redirects today. Let's move on to Barbara picking up this computer. I have a video clip, and I have their permission. Both her and her husband Ron gave me permission to use this video, her reaction of checking out her computer. So I'm going to unmute the video. Let me know in chat with the number 1 if you can hear this video when I'm playing it. Number 2 if you cannot hear, or just type the words. Here we go. And so here's the power button. Just go ahead and turn it on. We'll see. Get your honest reaction.
I don't like it so far. Oh.
Oh, it was black?
This is what I brought to you.
Her computer's in the upper left corner.
Wow, I was a lot more handsome. Oh, that was you I was looking at. That was you I was looking at.
Yeah, if you want lean on that, then the camera will show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's Lincoln.
Yeah, Lincoln. All right. All right. So then go ahead and sign in. You press any key to get the pin prompt.
Sure enough.
All right.
Oh. I like.
Did that seem snappier to
Oh
you?
my goodness, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Why don't you try opening something or doing
Okay.
something that you're commonly doing?
Does this go with that?
Yes, this mouse and that
Okay.
keyboard.
Oh, I can't tell you how good that feels. Oh, it's my stuff. Okay. Yep, sure enough.
Now you said you're mostly doing internet and
Yep.
Excel stuff, so none of
Yep.
that probably took very long to launch.
Yeah, it'll take longer this time because everything was shut down once, right? I mean,
yeah, it'll be
but
quicker the
normally it'll
second
be.
time around.
Yeah. Well, okay. Here's where I spend a large amount of time doing. Yep. Oh, it's tons faster.
Tons faster?
Oh my goodness. I mean, it's right there. I'm used to ho hum. Yeah.
Good.
I've got these flash drives being delivered because I'm trying to take.
Okay, well that's her reaction to the computer. Tons faster. Very enjoyable to see that, right? Now let's get back to something else. I have an unboxing to do. I'm gonna go take a look at the orange. Let's see. I responded to Big B's crash. I saw that already. Let's see. There's that check disk command. Speedy C was watching. Oh, that's right. He asked about Big B spilled news. That's right. I remember that now. I was pretty sure you were there. Thank you for bringing up the subject about forensic copy. There's a little bit more to that kind of copy, but in the reasons for using it. But give it a try. We can move on. Hopefully. Let's see. That's my link. Yeah, I don't see a show for Carrie. $89 for spin, right? Ken Stout with Prime. I guess he's saying he has Prime Amazon there. Is that what he's saying? One thing about SpinRite, if it dies, if the drives being tested get stuck, meaning obviously SpinRite found the problem, you might let it go for a certain period of time, half hour at the most. No, I'd let it go for longer. Back with SpinRite 6.0, I let it go for days. When you run it on a computer that you don't need to use, you don't need to shut off. No, I would let it go. Do not give up. It will keep trying and trying, and it may be successful. I love upgrading SSD to see the reaction. Took the words right out of my mouth. I will never install a spinning drive into a computer again unless it's for storage, not a boot drive. Alice, really great. That's the reaction. Martin, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do for my customer. Alice, after listening to you, I've decided not to get a copy of Norton. I like that choice. That's awesome. I have a few people say, wow, after fixing their PC. Generally speaking, that's my rule. Also, if I used to SpinRite to fix a drive, then I use that drive for other purposes, not for important data operating systems. Yeah, Once you use SpinRite or any other tool to fix it, the purpose of doing that is to get that data off to another drive. I would not continue using that drive. Your way of saying you're hungry, that's between Ken and Rand. Even Steve Gibson was asking this question about what he does with drives that SpinRite repairs. He basically said the drives would be very trustworthy, something to that extent. Now, since LonDog is using Dragon Naturally Speaking, I'm not confident that he said very trustworthy or very untrustworthy. What he does with drives that SpinRite repairs, he basically said that the drives would be very trustworthy, something to that extent. Now, I could believe that he knows it well enough to believe that, but I'm not certain that's what LonDog meant to say. Zavimano or Duck? Duck. I'm sure that's a joke somewhere that I missed. I'm not sure where. I know there's more in chat. There's Duck. Enjoy brunch while watching. Oh, he's actually watching instead of just listening. But remember, he's the one that's selling the product as it is. It's supposed to take that sector after recovering the data and drive, and its firmware will block that area again from ever being used again. Yeah, you got a point there. You got a point there. I think he is that confident about it, and possibly rightfully so, because the whole philosophy behind SpinRite, I remember this now, when I went back and listened to him give a full description about the strategy behind SpinRite, is that our computers, our operating systems, fail to flag bad portions of the disk to never be used again. And that's what SpinRite does, is it flags it so it can never be used again. It is always the case that a newly manufactured disk, and SSDs also, have unusable portions that are marked as unusable. The operating system will never use them. And the operating systems fail to mark those as unusable, do not use again. But the rest of the disk may be fine. If a disk or an SSD is continuing additional sectors going bad, then I would think he would probably agree, don't use that disk anymore. But if the bad portions of the disk or the SSD are flagged as don't use again, okay, I'll buy that you could go ahead and continue using the drive. Of course, for the amount of money involved, and judge the risk involved with what you're dealing with, do you want to risk it? Although another point to it is that I believe he promotes to use SpinRite, perhaps even on brand new drives, because the manufacturer isn't aggressive enough at marking portions as unusable if they are marginal. Remember to leave room for 3.14. Actually, did he actually do prime correctly? Or not prime. What, I'm using the wrong word, aren't I? Did he use 3.14? What was the number that he used? Oh, yeah, he did. But isn't it 3.141? Is that right? I'm using the wrong word. Pi. Thank you, Wintermute. Of course, you would be the one to give me the right name. Thank you. I'm very happy to have you around here. But again, I follow the same rule as you stated. If the drive is repaired to SpinRite, I would rather just invest in a new drive than be suspicious. Yeah, but I am interested in using SpinRite automatically routinely on new drives and see if it finds marginal areas and flags them as unusable. Oh, sorry, there was a missile alert for Zavi Minor region. Ouch. Hi, again, best wishes. Can't we just all get along? I know, that's simple-minded. How far behind am I? Yeah, 3.141. Yeah, so he didn't have pi, correct. 3.1456. Where did that come from? Was that his memory? All right, let me do an unboxing. I have a client. Let's see, do I have that keyboard? Nope, I don't have that one. I have a chiropractor client. I've mentioned them a few times. We have a really tiny little desk in their kitchen area that has the server and has a second computer that they connect remotely to for a person who works remotely, and the chiropractor will connect remotely to that computer. There's one monitor on this tiny little desk. It's an old monitor. It can't even display 1080p, so it's a weird layout on it. In fact, I think I showed you my efforts to try to fix the resolution on that. So, and it's even a difficult location. I kind of have to bend and hunch over. And I said, I am tired of this. And then I have to move the cable around from the cable coming from one computer, put it on the monitor, to pull that one off and put the other one on. Now, actually, when I was last working there were two monitors. The second monitor was down on the floor, disconnected. I brought it back up, connected it, and couldn't get it to turn on. So I started thinking about what would be a good solution for that. So this is a 15-inch portable monitor that's intended to be a second monitor for laptops. It takes up very little desk space, and it can fold up really nice to take up even less space. So I think it seems to me that Carrie demonstrated one of these too. Comes with a USB to USB type A to USB type C, USB type C to USB type C. And this is, I think, HDMI to mini HDMI maybe. This one has caps on the end, so I can't tell. Yeah, HDMI here to mini HDMI. That might look like a USB type C to you, but I think it's called mini HDMI. It was, what, around 70 some odd dollars? Probably 79. So here's the looks of it. Very nice. What I liked about this is that we can actually close it up and lay it down flat on the desk. It doesn't have to stay set up. That's the user guide. Nice looking screen. And then this folding cover has a few ways for it to operate. This way it would, that gives it kind of a pretty vertical, and then you can put it into one of these divots, or put it into that level divot, and you've got a nice slant to it, if that's what you want. Which in this case, the desk, I was calling it a desk, but it's really a little, it's more like an end table. And it's even a triangular shape, I think. Yeah, it is a triangular shape. Fits in the corner of the room. And so it's low. It's not at a normal desk height. And there's no chair for me to sit at. So I'm standing at this thing that's kind of like an end table. So it's quite possible that this might be the way that I'm going to use that. Now, I was suspecting that this might have some other way of, it's all magnetic. some other way of sitting something like this. That's not quite it. I don't know if it does roll up that way, but this will be fine here. Now this magnet does come apart, so it just sits there like that when you're wanting that, or it can be completely separate. There's yeah, the mini HDMI here, and then 2 Type-C ports, and it charges. Well, I don't think it has a battery. It doesn't charge from a Type-C port. It's actually powered from there. And then here's a toggle switch, which kind of it's a rolling toggle switch. If you push up or push down, it's not a dial. It's just a toggle switch that is in the shape of a dial, and it pushes up or pushes down. It doesn't stay in either position. It's like spring loaded. And then here we have a power button and a restart, and then a headset jack there. So there's an unboxing. I think I'm getting close to shutting this down. Have I talked about everything? Let's see. I talked about Martin Hogg. I talked about the status of Big Beast. Talked about Barbara getting her computer back and an unboxing. I think I covered everything. Now, at first I was going to order 2 of these so that both of those computers could have a screen on all the time, but it's really they never go look at that. They don't need 2 monitors connected. And I might have to purchase some other cable. I want a cable going from each computer to the mini HDMI port. And I'm not even sure that both of those computers have HDMI ports. So anyway, I may wind up buying another cable so that both of those cables could be maybe secured to the desk with one of these desk clips that I have that'll secure a cable there, so they can easily be plugged into either computer, and I'll label them for which computer they are, because I know there'll be a time when I have to call them and ask them to look at one of the 2 computers and swap the cable. I tried to create a backup of that drive. No joy, failed. Backup of that drive. Backup of you're talking about the cloning. I'm not sure what you're referring to that failed here. Were you talking about a previous question? That's what I'm trying to do for my customer. I'm not sure what that. If you're talking about the drive that you sent me pictures on already, does that mean you tried to do the forensic clone? I don't know what that means. Unfortunately, I have 1-year guarantee, sometimes a 3-year guarantee, but in order to get a drive that has a 5-year guarantee, those are special drives, not commonly something you buy already built. It's worth checking. Bad sectors on that source drive. Pi. Yes, Steve Gibson has recommended using SpinRite on a brand new drive for a few reasons that you have stated. It also corrects the drive alignment, makes sure everything in proper order. I'm looking forward to that. Sounds like Pi version 3.14. Didn't we have a version of Windows that was 3.14 back in the days of before Windows 95, back in the days of Windows 3.0 and 3.1? Did they come up with a 3.14? That's my version of Pi. I do not have the DougBetts memory system down yet, working on it. Portable monitor, one of the best things I got myself 2 years ago. That's double the precision value. I also use it with my Nintendo Switch. Agreed, but what do you suggest? Let's see, Nick to Martin, disk check, and SpinRite. If you have to get the data off, do you not have a backup? I think he's asking there. Dennis catching up. DVR, it won't back up. Should I just copy the entire drive to another drive? Well, yeah, I mean, if there's just data files that is all that you need, then certainly. But you haven't said here whether you've tried the forensic clone or removing that option in Macrim Reflect about um, checking the source drive. You can try that, but you only get data, not programs, and Windows won't work. Yeah, the only thing you're going to be able to copy is data files. Daniel Emberley, hello to you. Often wonder if I could use two of those portable monitors in portrait mode on a music easel. Might have to come up with a solution to get access to various jacks connectors. Certainly. Do you want, I'm imagining you want them to be extend the image rather than duplicate the image across both. But certainly, as long as you have multiple video out from your computer, even if they're not the right connector type, because you can get adapters, you can get cables that have HDMI on one end and VGA on the other end or DVI on the other end, whatever you want. I prefer not to use adapters if possible, particularly for a long-term connection. Buy a cable that has the ends that you need. But certainly you could do two portables in portrait mode. I love unboxing. New software is cool. I wish it was full HDMI is my only issue with mine. Why? Why would you care about that? Why not? What's wrong with using an adapter or a cable that has full HDMI on one side and mini HDMI on the other side? Functions should be the same, I believe. I don't think you lose any functionality. 4.1 earthquake. Let's see. I think I need to shut this down. I'm way over time. I will read the rest of those messages later. So, no redirect. You got some time to continue chatting in the chat room if you care to. And that'll do it. If you'd like to send a question for me to respond to in the chat room to respond to, you can send it to that email address or put a comment on any of my videos or ask your question in the chat room. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.